Is your child getting a healthy lunch at school? It's a question that a lot of parents ask, and that is certainly true in Boston, where 78% of the students are food insecure. And there is a new effort underway to address that called the My Way Cafe, launched by the Boston Public Schools with the Shaw Family Foundation. And it has the goal of making sure that every student is getting healthy food at school.
And joining us right now is the president of the Shaw Family Foundation, Jill Shaw, and Fiona Turner, a documentary filmmaker with a new documentary out about school lunches in Boston. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
So, Jill, let's start with you. Just tell us, what is this My Way Cafe initiative, and why did you get involved in this?
I had wandered into, I was invited into a cafeteria at the Mason School in Roxbury, and at the time it had a warming oven and a freezer. And I had a freezer because the way that we serve kids' meals in what we call satellite schools, which is about 75% of our schools, is that there is no kitchen. And so the meals are produced in Long Island or now in New Jersey, shipped up in black boxes.
It's not fresh.
It's not fresh. It's frozen. Comes, maybe unfreezes a little bit on the way back to Boston, and then it's put in the plastic in a warming oven. And so then it's taken out of the warming oven, put on a folding table, hand kids a spork, and they spork open the package, and that's lunch and that's breakfast. And it just didn't seem, I didn't feel like that was probably the best way to feed kids. And so I started looking at the budgets and thinking about, is there a different way to spend the money? And it all ended up, you know, yes, absolutely, if there are kitchens. And so these kitchens were the key. And so that was the first thing we went after, is how do you build small kitchens in every school so that you can start to cook right with the kids.
And Fiona, let's talk about the documentary, because we should say right off the bat, though, every child in the Boston Public Schools gets breakfast and lunch there at school, but a lot of people might be surprised to know that the kitchens, some of the facilities are pre-World War II. There are no kitchens at all. What else would people be surprised to find in your film?
The interesting thing for me, actually, was that Boston has, in fact, been a leader in the nutrition, in the field of nutrition, and with the lunch program. And I think there was a program way back in the 1890s, which was the first program ever, where a nutritionist was exploring science of nutrition, and she did a test program at the Boston Latin School. So, and that was the first time, I think, that it was recognized here that there was this correlation between nutrition and learning.
Boston has a legacy with this. And you're going into these schools and seeing there's no kitchen, there's no sink, there's no oven necessarily. So the goal was to convince the mayor, we got to start putting kitchens into some of these schools. How does that get paid for?
Yeah, so so what I think was really smart what they asked us to do. So they had us do a pilot with 4 schools in East Boston, so we could go figure out what kind of kitchens, can this even be done, is it too disruptive? And so we went to fast casual restaurants to see how they cook for, you know, tens of thousands of people in 250 or 300 square feet. And so they have this one oven called a combi oven, which is very magical. It can make things taste fried, even if they're not fried. And it's just, it cooks everything very deliciously. And then it's a couple of sinks and freezer, fridge, and prep tables, and then serving lines. And so that's not that expensive, actually. And even though the schools are very old, and sometimes you have to really dig for the electrical, which Fiona does an amazing job documenting in the film, you know, it kind of becomes this comedy of errors. It's still just not that expensive. And so I think that was very exciting to the mayor as he looks at, how do I invest in all schools and how do I do things equitably?
So you're just buying this equipment, right?
So
the combi oven, the appliances, and then they get put in the schools, and you've done about 60 so far.
So there's 30 done last summer, and then the mayor just announced that they're doing another 30 this summer. And so that's all in the budget.
You're going to get to all 125 by the end of this project, you think?
I think so, yes.
You're determined, we can tell.
Yeah, no, I think the mayor is too. I mean, I think he sees
it makes sense.
Yeah, it's really beneficial.
And that's really all the behind-the-scenes work that people don't think about. But in terms of the front lines, Fiona, you show these East Boston lunch ladies in the film, and the film's called Eat Up, we should say that. Sort of navigating all the rules and regulations. What are the challenges that they face?
There are a lot of challenges when you're trying to feed that number of kids, and the rules are pretty stringent, and you know they're complicated. It's so many half cups of greens, so many half cups of red and orange vegetables, so many whole grains. There are no regulations on sugar, so that was kind of a little bit of a surprise. surprise to me. There are no government
Is
regulations
ketchup still
for the
considered a
sugar.
vegetable? Is that still
No.
a thing? No, no longer.
Fortunately,
Jelly's
no.
not a fruit
No.
anymore.
And jelly's no longer a
Jelly's not a
fruit.
fruit.
Probably should not be, so I'm glad that we've come
Only
that
in our
far
own
with it.
minds. And the film already premiered at the film festival, but at the MFA coming up. Tell people the
Yes,
dates.
yes. No, we're very excited. It's got a theatrical release at the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, and it's going to be running from June 5th to June 9th, and you can get tickets on their website.
So the film is Eat Up. You can go see it at the MFA. Fiona Turner is the filmmaker, and Jill Shaw with the Shaw Family Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
Thanks
you
very
very much. We're going to go